Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1-to-1 scale Spidey mask review video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at quite a few Spidey masks that not only come from the films, but also the games. Now I got these from Comics Sanctorum. Do bear in mind, once again, these are third-party, unlicensed, unofficial products. I have popped the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on some cosplay masks I picked up for my own personal collection. Now throughout the video we will be checking out the masks both on a headstand and off, so we can examine the details a lot closer up. Now, some people have said previously, hey Justin, why on earth aren't you putting these masks on? And to answer that very simply, my head is a super unique shape, and so too is yours. So if I put the mask on and it looks awful on me, but if you put it on and it looks great on you, then technically I would be doing it a disservice. So I have very simply gone with a very neutral headstand. This should still give you an idea of what the mask is going to look like when you pop it on. Now I have picked up, as I said, multiple different options, starting off with a couple of MCU masks, and then one that I personally am super excited about, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 mask. When I reviewed TASM 2, a lot of people said, okay Justin, we love Amazing Spider-Man 2, but where on earth is TASM 1? Well, here it is, and yeah, I can't wait to check it out. I also grabbed a couple of masks based off the PS4 and PS5 games, one for Peter and two for Miles. What we are going to do now though is start off with the regular upgraded suit MCU mask, take it off the rotating turntable, punch in and take a closer look at the details. Here we have it, up close and personal. Now, as I've mentioned, the face shell shape is rather unique. It's quite specific to this look for Spidey, but before we discuss that further, I do want to tell you exactly what a face shell is. Now, as you can see, the mask is made of fabric. It is fully wearable, but on the inside there is this hard plastic yet perforated face shell. Basically what that does is give your face the appearance, the illusion if you will, of looking exactly like Spidey. Because if you sit down and think about it, if you were just to pull this fabric mask over your face, you would see all of the ridges of your eyebrows, your nose, your mouth and your ears. This basically hides all of that and makes you look way more accurate. Now the material isn't screen printed. This time it's all stretchy spandex and the print is literally just on the surface of the fabric. It's not textural. You can't feel it. It's not 3D is what I'm trying to say. You do have a zipper down the back that is relatively hidden inside one of the web lines. Now around the front, you do have some very wide open lenses, which is a good thing if that's the look you're going for, but unfortunately there aren't any swap out ones. They are magnetic, so technically if you did want to make your own, you could 3D print some, but these are the only ones my mask came with. Now, in certain lighting conditions, you can see the 3D print lines for the lenses. In others, from a distance, it's going to be completely unnoticeable, but up close and personal, it is something that caught my eye. Speaking of eyes, when you put this on, the visibility isn't great. Someone said, Justin, why don't you put this on the camera and show us what that looks like? As you can see, the holes are relatively small, and because they're perforated, your vision isn't going to be perfect. So having the lenses be able to pop out at a con when you're getting dressed or trying to use your phone, it's absolutely a good thing. Now, I'm not sure if I prefer this over the moving lens version, because that one obviously has moving lenses, but the shape and size of this, plus how thin the face shell is rather important, because you don't want to be wearing a big bulky helmet on top of your Spidey costume. Do let me know what you think of this mask though down in the comments below. Following on in the same vein, we do have another MCU mask. Now technically this is supposed to be the exact same mask we just looked at, flipped inside out. In No Way Home, someone throws paint on the suit and then Peter flips it inside out to create the black and gold suit. Here in prop format, it is only printed on one side, which to me makes perfect sense. Now it is all fabric and fully wearable, plus you can pop out the lenses in case you want to 3D print your own. The face shell is done in the exact same shape and style as the other mask, which makes sense because this is supposed to be the same suit, just in reverse. Now I personally haven't decided yet which one I'm going to have in my main Spidey display, but I turn the question once again over to you. Which of the masks do you prefer out of these two MCU options? The classic red Spidey mask, or do you go for something slightly different with the inside-out suit? Next up, we have the Amazing Spider-Man mask, and as I said earlier, this is one I was super excited to get. I love this costume design. Now the red fabric is printed, but just like the Tom Holland mask, it's not a 3D texture. The only 3D parts here are the web lines. And as you can see, they are movable. They are glued at the joins, but they do have a little bit of flex just so when you're moving around and putting this on, they don't stress and start to crack. Now some people didn't really love that on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 mask, but I personally do. I would much rather there be some play here than see these lines start to crack over time. Now they do come into a very sharp point around the front, and that's really nicely done, at least in my opinion. The lenses do have a slight bluish tinge to them. Now, in the movie, these were super high gloss. Here, they're a little bit more of a metallic satin, but if you did want to paint them with some high gloss, you totally could get that done. Now, the lenses, once again, are magnetic and removable, plus you do have the gold honeycomb pattern on the inside. Another thing that absolutely will help this mask stand out in the collection. Now, around the back, of course, you do have a zipper closure, but you do have that very same perforated plastic for the face shell. This time, though, it's a lot narrower. That is accurate to the Amazing Spider-Man suit. Now, as for visibility, as you can see, it is rather limited once again. You can also see where the fabric for the mask has been pulled through and glued in place. Luckily, when you have your face pressed up against the mask, that's not something that you're going to be able to see, obviously because it's on the inside. Now, I don't know which of these masks is my personal favorite. I absolutely love the way this one looks, but the big comic book style lenses of Amazing Spider-Man 2, yeah, they're pretty impressive as well. Do let me know which of these masks is your favorite down in the comments below. Now, seeing as I literally just posed the question, why not check them out side by side? On the left, TASM 1, on the right, TASM 2. Now, I do absolutely love these massive lenses. They've got the glossy black outline, the white for the honeycomb, and yes, they are magnetic as well. I also like the big thick web lines and the darker red that they've gone with for the fabric. Whereas over here, you've got the much smaller lenses, they do have the gold honeycomb pattern and the blue outline. Plus, the red they've gone with is a little bit more saturated, it's slightly more vibrant, a little bit more orange at the same time. Now, I'm sure everyone is going to have their own personal preference which one they prefer, but I'm just really happy that I can display these two side by side. Moving on to something you don't get to see very often, a fully wearable version of the advanced suit mask. Now, of course, this is Peter's suit from the PS4 video game. You can still remove the lenses just like the other masks, so if you wanted to, you could print out some other options. Now, the next two masks we'll be looking at for Miles, they actually come with interchangeable lenses. Unfortunately here with Peter's, that's not something that you get. The lenses are a really nice domed bubble shape, And yes, they are rather hard to see through, so being able to pop them out, I know I keep saying this, but at a convention, it is definitely a bonus. Now, on the underside, it of course is all fabric, it is fully wearable, and you do have a custom-designed face shell. This isn't the same exact face shell that we just saw with the MCU masks, nor is it the same one that we saw with Amazing Spider-Man. I do appreciate that the makers here are custom molding each face shell, so when you put it on, it actually looks like the source material that the mask is based off. Now the fabric is all just printed, just like the MCU mask. Unfortunately, there isn't any raised web patterns or texture. I would have liked to have seen that, but once again at a distance on display, this still looks really good. These next two masks were the ones that I personally was most excited to see. They both belong to Miles, and they're both based off his appearance in the PS5 game. Now, it does come with interchangeable lenses, as I discussed just a second ago, but we will go into more detail on those in a moment. Now, the mask itself is a completely different shape and size to the advanced suit for Peter. That's absolutely a good thing because they're based off two different unique suits. The bridge/nose section for Peter is a lot wider and broader, where it's a little bit more narrow on Miles. Which means, yeah, I'm going to say it, a fully custom designed face shell once again. Now the mask is full fabric, and up the back the zipper is very nicely hidden. It's kind of integrated behind one of the raised web lines. Now when you open it up, you can of course see the face shell. It is all plastic, and it's perforated for optimal breathability. The lenses are attached with magnets, and these are a lot easier to see through than the lenses that came with the advanced suit mask. Now the fabric for the mask is all fabric, but it's screen printed for the black sections, and then you have some raised web lines. Now, some people don't love that the web lines aren't fully fixed at every single strip, but I think they've done that so when the fabric is moving around, they don't rip and tear. That means these are just that little bit more flexible. Now, if you are wondering what the mask looks like with some alternate lens options, you do have the big honkin' fully wide open ones, which are great for visibility, but I think that I personally prefer the slightly more closed ones. There's a little bit more detail, you can see the aperture of the lens itself, whereas these do look a little bit more comic inspired. But if you do want to go for something slightly more serious, you do have the fully squinted ones. These do reveal a ton more of that aperture detail, but at the same time, if you wanted to, you could mix and match to have maybe a winking version of Miles. It's completely up to you. I would have loved to have seen moving lenses here, but being able to swap them out is still a very good thing. I do like the white honeycomb, I love the super glossy vibrant red, and also on the fully wide open lenses, they do have a nice bubble/dome shape. But that's not all, we do still have one more mask to check out, and I think it might just be my favorite, which means that I accidentally saved the best for last, at least in my opinion. Now, I'm sure you'll have your own favorites, and if you want to, let me know which one it is down below. Now, this mask is still all fabric, and it does retain the exact same face shell as the mask we literally just looked at. Now, you may be thinking, okay, well, isn't that the same mask, just color swapping the red with gold? Yeah, that's exactly what it is, but something about the gold and black color scheme just speaks to me. Now, this one on the left is the classic suit, whereas this one is the Uptown Pride suit. And yes, it is in the game. Now, the lenses are still interchangeable, they are magnetic. The standard lenses do have this black border, which yes, is accurate. But if you wanted to, you do have multiple other options. Starting off with the fully squinted ones, I don't know that these are the ones I'm going to go with in the display. They do expose more of that aperture that I discussed earlier, but they aren't super accurate because the black border isn't present. Now they are all see-through with this honeycomb mesh, but as you can see, it's rather difficult to see through all the various shapes and sizes of lenses, even when they are big and wide open. Now, this pair is kind of somewhere in the middle. It doesn't retain the black border, but it's nowhere near as squinted as the fully squinted ones. Once again, if you wanted to, you can mix and match and create your own perfect version of the Spidey mask, if that's something you like to mess around with in the display. Now, for me, having the black border on one side and not on the other does look a little bit goofy, so for the sake of accuracy in my collection, these are the lenses that I'm going to stick with on this particular mask. Just wrapping up on the third-party unlicensed cosplay Spidey masks. Now, going into this, I was really excited. I've already reviewed a bunch of these before, but this time we have traversed the length and breadth of the Spider-Verse. We started out with a couple of MCU masks, then we ended up at Amazing Spider-Man, and lastly the Gamerverse with the Advanced Suit mask and the Miles masks. A ton of different options in case you are looking to do cosplay, or if you are looking to put them on a headstand like I've done and have them in the collection. I don't exactly know what I am going to do with all of these masks, but at the very least I now have options. Some of them do have multiple different lenses, and I'm hoping going forward if we get a 2.0 of any of these, such as the MCU and Advanced Suit masks, that they also include multiple lenses just like the Miles ones did. Cause that is a very nice gimmick that I personally will absolutely be messing around with. Now, once again, these are unofficial products that I picked up from Comics Sanctorum. I have popped the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video. This is a review on some Spidey masks that I picked up for my own personal collection. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon? Plus hit that join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.